So Nick, what's the problem, mate?
The radar emergency cable which holds it in place.
The lanyard.
The lanyard is actually vibrating, and the radar is picking it up as a target. So each time your mast moves, the lanyard moves, which is metal, and it's picking up that there is something in line with your radar.
Right, so you've basically found after what's more than a year it's been a problem. We've taken cables out the masts, all sort of stuff, changed radars, la-di-da-di-da, and it's basically the lanyard.
It's basically just the lanyard. It's being caught up by the radar itself.
Good drills, buddy. Thanks, Nick.
Nick, you want to come down?
So now, today is a good day for me because we now have a working GPS on the radio. The radar is finally sorted. Wind instruments seem to be working well. No failures so far. And so yeah, let's hope it stays this way. So as you can see, according to the weatherman, this is 1 meter swell, and yeah, and it's meant to be 8 knot winds, which in fact it's 30 knot winds, and ooh, I did definitely give this at least 6 meters, with the occasional 8. It's starting to look a little bit like the North Sea here, but I'll leave you with this one. There's thankfully no breaking waves, but I'm bracing myself for impact. But it's all good, all good. You can see she holds well. It's unbelievably sunny, but yeah, very frustrating. So I'm just off the coast of Sicily, southern coast, near a place called Siaka or Portopalo. Actually, now I left Siaka this morning, and yeah, closer to Portopalo now. So this morning started off with 8 knot winds, and we were doing a healthy 7-8 knots until I saw some very disturbing weather coming towards me. So obviously reefed in and and then reefed in again, and then reefed again. And now we have this. So look, just to show you. So we're not too bad at the moment. It's kind of chilled out a little bit. So 30 knots apparent because we're obviously going up against it. And yeah, there we go. Nice clean foredeck. It's one way to do it. Yeah. My dog does a business out there, but I don't think it's wise to let her go out there now for some reason. I'm not sure. Might be a little bit too sunny. There we go. So yeah, I've got the engine on. Got a little bit of the staysail out there, the self-tacking jib, just because it balances the boat a little bit better, but just a little bit furled out because the wind's changing so much, and it's, you know, gusts of up to 40, so better off just to make it easy. Done. So we've been smashing away some miles, and unfortunately have been sustained pretty much 30 knot winds really. Between 27 30 knot winds for a good 8-12 hours. Yeah, I put CPN set up with the Navionics. Is working great. You can get an idea hopefully of the swell. And what I've noticed actually for the first time ever is actually been sleeping in the middle cabin. Just out of curiosity, I slept in the middle cabin and I noticed it was actually a lot more comfortable well, sort of running with it, I guess. I'm certainly not going into those waves, but running with it, yeah. So that's an interesting bit of information for the Trimaran Curiosity crew. There you go. There you go. 30 knot winds. Got my anchor alarm here, I can see from when I anchored. Has it moved? absolutely howling out there. We've got the food going on here, and the anchor hasn't moved a little bit. Brand new Rockner, doing great. Very impressed. Very impressed with the Rockner. It sets a lot quicker as well than the old anchor, which was a Cobra. I don't know what Cobra is a replicant of, but either which way it was crap. Drifted 3 times in a year on me. But this is good so far. I'll keep you up to date. So yeah, it's been a pretty rowdy past few weeks. I've had 60 knot winds, and unbelievably, that Rockner that you see at the front, she held in 60 knot winds. Pretty glad for that, I'll be honest with you. Held like a rock. So I just did what it said on the website and followed the sizing chart on the Rockner website for multi-hulls. And I have to say, I feel like giving the guy that designed that a big hug. Yeah, this is proper offshore stuff really. Pretty good winds. Tiny bit of swell, nothing significant really. Just enough to slow progress unfortunately, but that's offshore sailing, right? So, on the passage from Sardinia, not far from Cagliari, to Mahon actually. I was just trying to get anywhere in the Balearics. I'm actually trying to get west for the Atlantic to cross, but yeah, if on a motor I probably could have made it to Palma, but just there's a lot of fuel to waste. So you can just get to Mao and wait another day or so. So some few squalls, but nothing serious. Goes between 17 knots, apparent 20, 22. I've got one reef in, mate, Genoa mostly. If it picks up badly, then I'll put the jib up. But obviously the performance is nowhere near as good. Yeah, this is pretty good. Generally, trying to sail on a reach generally. So that little white marker is a pretty handy marker for getting apparent wind. If it starts touching that, then your performance is going to drop off. It's all about. See my anti-foul? Very clean. That's the beauty about having the speed. So I'm doing about 8 knots, I meant 8.5. You can imagine, I don't think there'd be many monohulls that you be up in the foredeck like this. A little bit irresponsible of me, actually. It's fun though. So this is help for you all. Bit of a shout out to my friend Stephen, who's been watching my YouTube videos and also seeing him chatting on Instagram. But if you get one of these B&Gs, or for that matter, I think any of these current multifunction displays, or MFDs as they call them for short, yeah, you definitely want to be thinking about getting one of these. So you plug this into the backbone, and then I take this little USB jobby job, plug it into the laptop, and I'm running OpenCPN. And what that means is I have a lot better control over my maps, for example, and I've got much better watch systems. So I've got basically, that's your normal equivalent of this jobby job, which is handy. I've still got that, but you still need that. But it just makes things a little bit easier when you're tired. And you can see my waypoints and stuff like that. And yeah, you can download maps for all the world, and if you're smart, you know where to get them. Yeah, so it's just great. There's basically quite a few different options for watches as well. So actually, there's a little plug-in for this OpenCPN. By the way, OpenCPN is totally free. Absolute heroes have programmed this for free, and frankly I think it's better than that. So look, here's this little plugin called Watchdog, and there's a big one. So you can see I've set up my plugins for speed. My speed gets over 10 knots or whatever. I start to wake up and probably should be up at the winches, but what I've done is I've set up the Wi-Fi on the B&G chart plotter, connected to the Wi-Fi on my laptop, and now my Wi-Fi also gets, over the Wi-Fi network, I get the AIS, which you can see here. So this chap is up on my grill, big tanker, and the way this stuff is portrayed is much better, and the alarms are much better on OpenCPN than they are on this, because all alarms sound the same on this, but in this you can do whatever alarms you want. So yeah, that gives you a little bit of a pointer. Definitely think if you get this, you're going to have to get, what this does is it converts the NMEA 2000 to 803, so that OpenCPN can work with the newer NMEA 2000. But yeah, this is the future, folks. If you it can be a little bit intimidating at first, and getting all the charts and everything for it, but my advice is get stuck into it. And another thing, this little plugin called Squidio, it basically is making pilot books pretty redundant in my view. You know, you're getting a lot of the information that you would get in pilot books from the Squidio website, and that overlays on top of your maps here. So yeah, useful to pointer and free. Enjoy. So today we're going from Mahon to Palma in Mallorca, and pretty good speeds, kind of high winds today for compared to chill sailing, but you can see a fair bit of swell. Don't know whether you can get it on camera, but yeah, you should never really see. But yeah, it's pretty disorganized swell. But anyway, so I've got the jib up only. You can see that, just the jib. So we've got the jib trimmed nicely, one reef in the main, and we're kind of bordering on, you know, apparent wind. We're getting about 20, 23, 24. So that's why I've got the jib up. And with that, our kind of average speed is about 8 knots, speed over ground generally. There you go. So that's pretty impressive performance, I have to say. And I know later on I'm going to be going upwind, so I'm going to be tacking. It's going to take a little bit more energy out of me. So I'm just trying to conserve my energy a little bit. There you go, nearly 9 knots. So that's pretty impressive in my view. And I've just got the apparent wind a little bit more than the true wind. I've got it on wind hold for that. And that gives me a good cross channel average speed. We hit up and top boat speed today was 12. So yeah, pretty good stuff. So look at that. So here we are, just kind of close to Denye, passing by Denye, and the wind changed, so we're now going perfectly south. Come from the Balearics, Mallorca actually, yeah, I picked up some crew. This beautiful Ukrainian human being, that's Alex.
Yeah.
You're looking extremely fresh today. It was a bit of a rough night, wasn't it, buddy?
It was like really rough night. It was like dangerous.
Yeah, and what happened?
We have a problem with lazyback. It's coming in the block of our main sheet.
That's it.
Yeah, it was really hard to cut and fix it. Yeah, but we do.
Yeah, no, me. I.
You. And me that steering in the front wind. Yeah.
And beautiful Eva thought that she saw a monkey, but it was in fact me climbing along the end of the boom in a bit of swell. You'll also notice that we have a duogen, which I'm kind of testing. I'm fully completed the install, but yeah, the duogen's inactive at the moment, although it's pretty good when it's working. But unfortunately the storms that we got in Velasmius took its toll on the attachments for it. So yeah, we've got to get a couple of bits and pieces fixed for that one. But everybody seems pretty happy this morning. Yep. Bit of sleep and nice calm seas, and we're screaming along, mostly 10 knots. Wind's just dropped now, of course, just when I do the video. But yeah, we've got there's the HDMI output for the chart plotter plugged into the TV, and that gives us a nice readout. So you can be over here in the very clean kitchen, extremely clean. Or I should say galley, to be perfectly correct. But yeah, it's more like a kitchen really. Anyway, so yeah, so you can be doing all your stuff and you can't really see the chart plotter from over here, so you can be, you know, cooking away and see everything on the chart plotter. So yeah, that's it. Say cheerio.
Yep, Captain.
So we are currently part of the passage down the coast of Morocco, and we're just kind of passing Safi really, and we got, you know, fairly strong winds, so apparent winds mostly around about 30, but of course just as I film it drops down to reasonable speeds, well, semi-reasonable. Yeah, fairly big seas out here. I'll just hold it still so you can kind of see. So me, the skipper, was up all night, yeah, pretty tired, but this tactic is working really well for comfort. I've got the storm jib, but she's filled in just a little bit, take the tension off the very front of it, and I've got 2 reefs in the main, and that is it. And with that we are getting very respectable 6 knots boat speed, depending on what way we crash into the waves. We're getting about 5.5 knots speed over trans, so yeah, pretty acceptable really. On the current wind that you're seeing now, I probably could shake out a reef on the main, but it's so gusty, it's just easier to manage like this, otherwise we'd be up and down all day. So yeah, I think that's quite impressive. And then I've got my 2 setups here, Open CPN, which I highly recommend you get yourself familiar with. It's free, Open CPN. And yeah, so I've got the 2 systems working away. Yeah, so big seas. So 2 reefs in the main, storm jib up, slightly felled in just to make it a little bit easier to get in if there's a real emergency. But yeah, you can see we're getting some 30 odd knots apparent wind. You can have a good look. I wouldn't say the mountainous seas, not at all. Significant. A bit chaotic for the Atlantic. captain duck's sitting nicely. How are the crew? All very relaxed. Solo?
Thank you.
Very relaxed. Just discussing what we're about to cook for dinner. Or with what they are about to cook me. Look at that.
Doing our bit for wildlife. Come on Jimmy, you're doing well. See if you can get it all off that his neck as well. Day 8, cruising along between 8 and 9 knots. Auto's been doing its business. 9 hours sleep last night. Still the waves are coming. Beautiful day. Atlantic sailing.
So here we are, still crossing the Atlantic, about halfway. So at the moment we've got pretty good winds, 23 to 27 knot gusts. So with the apparent wind actually, if I switch over to custom display, you can see we've actually got about 16 knots apparent. So we've got shaken out one reef and the Genoa up. And when you shake out that reef, it just actually ironically, you know, because you're moving so fast, it brings the apparent wind down, moving downwind obviously. So yeah, pretty good speeds, and you can see I've marked the waypoint, which is Antigua on the red line, and you can see our velocity made good. It's staying well up above, averaging 8 at least, but obviously as we surf, then that creeps up, as you can see here. Sometimes today we've hit 14 actually VMG. Yeah, and our top speed so far, which is pretty good, is 16.2 knots. And top speed today is 14.2, so yeah, all pretty good stuff. And yeah, I'll just leave you with what's up behind. So at the moment it's been sitting around about 30 true. And that gives us about 23 apparent. We've got one reef in, running with it, and the jib up as well. It's just a little bit too much for the Genoa, but pretty comfortable. It's fast. You can see when we're pushing on, lean angle's about 6 degrees, 8 degrees. We're getting gusts from, average speed is about 23 true, but we're getting gusting right up to 30. And it seems to be quite a good setup. It's very hard to get the boat round once you shake out that reef, but once you do, the apparent wind is acceptable, but you need to balance out with the foresail for sure. So yeah, it's going well. I'm making good time. Fortunately for this whole crossing, we've had easterly winds, which has meant we've got to drive quite a lot. It's not northeasterlies as you would hope, but they've kind of changed to slightly southeasterly now, so that means we can crack on. We'll be driving in about 5 hours, and then we're basically velocity made good to the course is pretty good. Then whatever speed we will do, we will be on route. So yeah. See the new solar there, it's working flat out, it's great, really good. Sunwear, solar panels, don't think it's really worth buying the solid band, if I'm honest. They're 10 watts less than the solid band, similar sized, but they're half the price.
Caribbean style, day 20 or something by now. Looking. It's about 9 o'clock in the morning. Moon up. One reef in. Jib out. Genoa out. Sun coming up. Moon going down. Cigarettes. Good morning, my friend.
Good morning.
Couldn't even tell you what day it is. Day 12?
Let's confirm. Yeah, day 12.
Day 12.
That's it.
Check out these bad boys.
We're already set to knock out a 200-mile day while we were sleeping. Storm jib out.
Yeah,
And 2 weeks in, and our average speed is 8 knots so far.
So we're basically going about the same speed as the plane right now, right?
Yeah, but the same speed as your Puma.
There you go. Even at this stage of the day, you're still funny. Well, I'm still funny. Alert! Squall alert!
Stopping. It's actually really warm, right? Oh, so refreshing.
Alba. This is what a squall looks like. Jib. So day, I don't know, 52 on the water by now. 14. But what we have learned is the importance of rationing and being well stocked in the kitchen. Day 14, so. Full Irish breakfast for a full Irishman. Doesn't get any better than that.
10 metres swell, I reckon. Yeah. I got an AIS signal which dropped about 2 miles away from us, and yeah, so we've just been on the radio. So there seems to be a rowing boat, RJ45 or something, rowing boat, and we just confirmed with them that everything's all right on the radio. But it's certainly an incredible achievement to be rowing across the Atlantic. Mind-blowing stuff. So, what do you think, Ollie?
We've obviously got a lot of free time, but we're lacking a little bit of common sense. But impressive.
Yeah, very impressive.
Just see these guys on radar and then AIS briefly, and then got on the radio, and the 2 rowers. Unbelievable achievement.
I'd say crazy, if you ask me. Look at that. Row for veterans. Deloitte sponsored.
There's nobody on channel 16 either. About a few hundred meters away from these guys now.
Day 17, final day. We can finally say that with confidence. Belting down, 20 to 11 in the morning.
Just sighted land about an hour ago.
Which you can then see if you look hard in the distance. A welcome sight. Definitely a welcome sight.
Yeah, and we just passed up the 3rd rower. Lunatics.
This guy's got some obsession with these rowers, but again, we'll talk about that in later videos.
Oh man.
Antigua. Down the way.
So we're on approach to Antigua, and we're going to Falmouth Marina, and so it's taken us 17 days when we were hoping around about the 12 mark. We had easterly winds the whole time. Really, it was tough going, some strong winds, but we were actually wanting strong winds, but fair bit of swell. Yeah, we're here, and still breathing.
For us, right? Finally, this.
Wow! Land! Woo! Beer!
3 days without beer.
Wow.
It's a tough one.
That's been a winter.
So this is the English harbour straight ahead, right? That you can't see. It's
Yeah, apparently it's quite a difficult approach, but we're not going there. We are going to Falmouth.
Falmouth Harbour.
Indeed.